All right, everything looks like it's good. Everything is lined up correctly. You guys already know My Hero Academia reactions and reviews. They never go longer than my One Piece reactions, though they have on occasion, but it doesn't tend to be all the time. So don't expect this stream to be exponentially long, just like my last stream for One Piece was a couple of minutes ago. So let's go ahead and get started with this chapter, ladies and gentlemen. Last we left off, and I'm actually going to do a full screen for this panel because I got to be careful. People like to pop in and try and spoil things before I look at it. So I am going to take the initiative and put this full screen. So if anyone jumps in and says hi or anything, I won't see that until the end of this chapter because I want to see what happens next. So I kind of forgot a little bit. Oh, wait, now I remember. I almost forgot what happened in the last chapter. But what happened was Bakugo revealed his hero name. Great Explosion God, Murder, something. It was an amalgamation of Great Explosion King, Murder God, Bomberman, stuff like that. Showed his name. Then it tried to show Makia trying to get his strength back, but all of a sudden, the last thing to take note of was the fact that the sedative that they threw into Makia's mouth way back when he was in the forest has finally started to take effect. So Yaoyorozu's plan finally worked. And Makia, their big ace in the hole, is no longer their big trump card that they can trust in. Not only that, but it shows Toya still going up against Shoto as he aims to kill Shoto and, get his revenge on Endeavor in some way. But now we get to find out what happens in chapter 294, Final Performance. What does this mean? I don't know. But it shows the Scale Hero before he gave his life in order to save Aizawa. It shows Mirko, who looks like she's banged up pretty bad. She's being treated right now. She's got an oxygen tank. We got a Gran Torino in an oxygen mask. We got Ryukyo. So let's go ahead and read through this. Chapter 294, Final Performance. The fact that the sedative took effect here and now is surely no mere coincidence. And we got Present Mike here as well. And then it shows Hawks because he's being tended by Tokoyami and some other medics in the force as well. Little by little, so many of us wore down the giant until he was weak enough for the drug to take hold. And it shows Mount Lady. It shows Midnight, and her mask is broken. It shows Endeavor falling back to the ground because he used the last bit of his power to punch Makia in the face. Even the thinnest threads can come together and braid a mighty rope. That I do, but had even a single thread frayed and come loose, all would have been lost. That I do believe. And it shows Best Jeanist is literally using every ounce of his strength to hold Makia so he can't move. But in the process, he's literally bleeding out of the nose. And it's stressful for him. And it shows Makia falling down to the ground. And it shows all the Nomu that Ida, Nejide, and I believe Lemillion are all taking on right now. And Makia isn't saying anything. Then it shows Shoto. And now one final push. And then it shows Best Jeanist opening up his hand. And then it shows Lemillion punching a Nomu in the face. And when that so Lemillion punched that Nomu in the face. But the punch from that Nomu sends a massive shockwave that pretty much tears up the ground around them. Gah. No wonder the heroes over there are having a rough time. The moves these things make are simple, but their speed and toughness are off the charts. And that's Lemillion speaking. Each one's gotta be just as strong as the Nomu and Kyushu. Hehe. You don't want to get tagged by these guys. You're in no state to take a hit from these things. Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite? Oh, that's his name. There it is. The fact that Ida was able to remember that so easily. Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite, you must retreat! Crap. There ain't a snappy comeback 'cause he's right. Anyhow, just gotta keep dodging so Genis is off their radar. At least I can redirect the resources spent on restraining the giant towards the League of Villains. And then there's Compress. This tidy tie-up job prevents me from touching the cables, and without physical touch I cannot activate my compress quirk. Such dire straits, and all I can do is tickle my own behind. The boss fares no better. You summoned us together, did you not? Told us to run amok, right? What are we supposed to think when even your act is cut short? This amounted to a trap. You still haven't destroyed a darn thing yet. It's just as our associate Spinner says. Dabi, young Toga, and I have yet to achieve our dreams. Blackout Bind! And then it... What the... Then it shows the ropes starting to... Then it shows the rope starting to bind them around their necks. Blackout Bind. Does our show end here? Spinner, I loved the League. A collection of warped minds who never bothered prying into each other's past. Just a band of egotists. Tomura is the key. And then it shows Spinner, whose eyes are literally bulging out of his head right now. The timing would be right. The timing must be right. When the heroes are a bit farther and the Nomu are in an optimal position, I shall buy you 5 seconds during which to rouse the boss. Every decent performance requires a good assistant. And then he touches his pocket. My dream, my blood-bound duty, the reason I'm here. And then he touches himself. Is he compressing himself? Because blood is starting to come out of Compress's mask. What is happening? Oh, he compressed his own body. Gouging out my own flesh gives my arm room to maneuver. And free use of my arm. And he compresses both Spinner and Tomura. Means I can do this. Don't believe for a single moment that you're the only ones giving your lives for a cause. Well, ready for a taste of prime entertainment? And then it shows Compress jumping up the body of Makia. What is he about to do? And then it shows Best Jeanist saying, maiming his own body? Really? Nevertheless, that wound is fatal. You have no hope of escaping. Bound by my own clothing? However, bound or not, so long as my hand is in position. And then he grabs. And he proceeds to compress more parts of his body. I can make quick work of this. Ah, you, over here. You're running, right? Free me too, then. And then he compresses the wires around Skeptic. Daring escapes and deception are my forte, which means I'm the man who will save our team from certain doom. Oji Harima, the peerless thief, a criminal from days gone by. Just when the current system began settling into place, Harima targeted the fattened pockets of sham heroes. He preached reformation while returning what he pilfered back to the streets. So is this the face of Compress? Listen, Atsuhiro, our family's league is all about exposing injustice. That righteous blood runs in our veins. Toya! Flash fire fist! Sorry about this, Shoto. Change of plans. Jet burn! And proceeds to engulf Shoto in a massive wave of fire. Enji Todoroki isn't completely broken yet. If he passes out now, there's no point in going on with this little performance. Sorry, masterpiece. To me, Dabi! Harima, the reformation that you could not achieve, I now hand off to my boss. And it shows I guess him compressing Dabi in order to get them out of there. I am Hanima's great-great-grandson! The Paranormal Liberation Fronts, no, the League of Villains Shigaraki. The Bandit King's blood flows through me! Will change the world in my stead. And his mask falls off. What's that you say? You barely noticed me? All part of the act. It's all for that ta-da moment. That the true trick is saved till the end. And it shows the face. And it finally shows the face of Compress. And he's got like he's got a mechanical arm because of the arm he lost from Chisaki. But also his entire right side is gouged out because he gouged it out in order to free himself. Voila! The curtain rises on the first and final escape artist performance of Mr. Compress. And it shows him uncompressing Spinner and Shigaraki, who are now free from the wires. But it also shows those same wires that Best Jeanist is using to bear down on Shigaraki and the rest of them, as Lemillion bears down on them as well. So how many league members from the League of Villains have we lost thus far? Because this wound that Compress put into his body is fatal. Looks like there's another guy at MHA to simp for. Yeah, for you people who like him that way, especially with the way where he doesn't have like his shirt on anymore or anything like that. So now, if I'm going back and if this is correct, he pretty much freed Shigaraki and Spinner so they can, I guess, can make their escape, because apparently this is the last performance of Mr. Compress, because, you know, there's only so much you can do medical-wise for missing an entire chunk out of your right side. I'm pretty sure he compressed some very vital organs right there. But we've lost... How many people have we lost for the League of Villains? We've lost twice, and now it looks like we're about to lose Compress. Why did he compress his body? He compressed his body in order to give himself... in order to free himself from Best Jeanist's quirk. Because of his clothes, Best Jeanist was able to bind him. So he proceeded to compress not only his clothes, but parts of his body in the process in order to free himself from it. Because right here, it shows him binding all over himself, like compressing his leg, compressing his shoulder, compressing his multiple parts of his body in order to cause those clothes to rip apart and free himself from Best Jeanist's control. He ripped apart not only his... But didn't he only compress his butt? No, he compressed all over his body. When he said, he compressed his leg, like he compressed his body to get rid of some of the bindings that Best Jeanist had on him so he can get out of it. He compressed his right side to first get out and free Shigaraki and Spinner, and free himself from the threads. And can he not put it back? No, because he's not compressing an entire person's body. When he compresses something, if he compresses something partially, like say he can only compresses like the front part of your arm, like from the forearm down to your hand. That's your hand gone. It's not like it just displaces it, like, say, Law from One Piece cuts off your arm, and then your arm is still technically still alive and still belongs to you. You can just put that back on. With Compress, if he compresses like a portion of you, that part is gone, and it's separate from your body. So if you were to compress your head, and only your head, that would be akin to decapitation. You know what? Let me just go to Mr. Compress's quirk to get a better understanding of it. Compress, Hajima. Harima. Harima Oji. Oji Harima. Known as a peerless thief. And his great-great-grandson, Atsuruhiro. Alright, so to his quirk, Compress allows him to compress anything in a spherical area around his arm in a small marble-like object without actually damaging it. He can only compress his target if he's touching it. The weight of the target is reduced alongside them, making them very easy to carry. If used by a person, it effectively entraps them, terminating the fight instantly and allowing Mr. Compress to abduct them without difficulty. The quirk can also be used on select body parts, maiming the target. So when he compressed parts of his body, that's parts of his body he essentially maimed off of himself. Atsuhiro's quirk factor lies within his arms, and after losing his left arm to overhaul, Compress's activation is now limited to his right arm. So yeah, just like it says here, he can effectively maim a person if he only does it on select body parts. Compress's great-great-father was already mentioned in Gentle Criminals arc. Yes, we heard of that long ago. Compress's quirk would be fire in real life. It would. It would help moving. It would really help move. It would help people move so easy because we don't know the limits of how many things he can compress. So in that retrospect, it would help a whole lot with moving things around because the way they are, they're just in a marble-like state, and they're not just jumping around in the marble. So if he had something expensive, or what is this? What is this? What is all this big old plate of chicken you just brought me? What is this, Popeyes? Oh, it's Bojangles. Okay, give me a sec. I gotta...
There you go.
Don't put that so close to the edge right now. That's where my...
Enjoy.
Thank you. That's where my power protector is. Don't do that. Family done brought in food all of a sudden. But with this, Compress says, I mean, it says final performance, so it seems like we could be losing like another league member. But yeah, from the way it looks, because even Best Genius says that, hey, that wound you just gave yourself, that's fatal. Show us the chicken. Okay, if y'all want to look. I mean, they got Bojangles, so I got some dirty rice, pieces of chicken, and I got some of their fries as well. But I'm going to eat this after I'm done with this as well. It was a pretty good chapter. It didn't get me out of my seat monumentally, but looks like the heroes are lost. I am so excited what will happen next. I gotta say, following My Hero Academia as I have all this time, this story has been phenomenal, okay? There hasn't been any chapters that I felt have dragged on too long. There hasn't been any characters that I felt like, why are we even learning about this character? Every character seems to be fleshed out. And not a lot of stories nowadays can do that so well. And not only that, have the personalities of these characters. Did we lose a hero yet? Like a meaningful one? I mean, it would have appeared like chapters back that Gran Torino getting, straight up punched through the stomach. It would seem like that's a fatal blow. But that remains to be seen because they got him up to an oxygen mask, so maybe there's a way to save him. Imagine this arc animated. Imagine Shigaraki waking up animated. Imagine that. Wouldn't it be scary if they choose not to have any music during the moment he wakes up? Not just like big booming villain music. I mean, no music. It's just the sound of people and the sound effects, and that's it. Nothing else. Compress will not be dead in this arc. He will escape along with the other League of Villain love members. Oh, why can't we just call them the other love members? You probably wouldn't take them too seriously if they just call them the love members. But League of Villains love members. Every villain is lemons. Welcome to love. I don't think that people would. I don't think people would take them so seriously if they call them the love members. But except Makia, yeah, because Makia's big. I don't know how they're gonna get him out of there, because it looks like he's at the mercy of Best Genius right now, especially since he doesn't have any strength. But that remains to be seen because we are not going on break with this chapter either. But it does. I mean, it says. I mean, Jai. Even if you say he will not be dead in this arc, he said it was going to be his first and final performance. Like this big moment where we see his face finally. Not only that, but he has numerous wounds that are fatal on him. He's literally maimed his own body in order to escape from Best Genius. So I feel like Compress is not going to walk away from this. He literally gouged out a portion of his whole body right here. There's very vital organs over here. I think your liver's over there. And stomach. And intestines. And other things that require you to be alive. This is his time to prove his abilities. He will definitely escape. But why call it his final performance then? I don't know. It remains to be seen. We'll have to find out next week. I'm not going to put my chips in and say that he's going to die. Nor am I going to just put my chips in and say he's going to live. I'm just putting my chips in the area that says we will have to see what happens in next week's chapter. We're getting another chapter of One Piece and My Hero Academia next week as well. So I'm anxious to see just what this means for pretty much everyone. I mean, a lot of the heroes who got pretty much beaten up really badly, they're being taken in by medical staff. Hopefully someone finds Midnight, because it doesn't show like a medical team with her. So hopefully she's able to survive this, because otherwise she may end up being that hero, that meaningful hero that we end up losing. So we'll just have to see until then. 22 minutes. Not bad for me going through the stream. So I give this chapter an 8 out of 10. It was a good chapter. Plus, we got another moment with the League of Villains as we see them embrace themselves. Like, here's the thing. We get, like, flashbacks to how whenever you see a villain getting flashbacks and it looks like they're on their last legs, and then you see their faces and stuff like that, it doesn't really end all that well. But as I said before, we're going to see how things go in the next chapter. So that's all I got for you guys. Yeah, I did tell you this was going to be shorter than my One Piece stream, so I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. I'm going to go ahead and eat this food. I'm actually going to go in there and sit down with my family and eat with them before I go and start recording my reaction to today's One Piece chapter. And then I look forward to seeing you guys during my Cyberpunk 2077 playthrough Part 4, which will be starting tomorrow at either 11 or 12. You guys will know because I'll put this stream up for you tomorrow. So with that being said, the villains got to get a win. Hey, that's the thing with this whole arc. The heroes and villains have been trading L's and W's this whole arc, back and forth. If the heroes had a win, they get a loss. If the villains had a win, they get a loss. And it just keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Hirikoshi Sensei will not kill any characters that easily. He will definitely give him a good amount of screen time. I did not enjoy it. Where's my refund? I don't believe I charged any of you to come here, so no refund for you. So God, I love messing with you guys. God, I love doing this. You guys know I love to do this so much. So if I'm able to make your day brighter just by doing this, bringing my own brand of funny and brand of entertainment to what I do here, then I'm happy to do so. That's the whole purpose of this channel, is to keep you entertained, especially now in this whole pandemic we're going on. Some people are not feeling the best concerning it. So I'm happy to offer some semblance of entertainment. You charged my time? What did you miss? You missed me reading through the entire chapter of 294. If you haven't read it, go ahead and read through it. Because I don't want to say what we've read through and spoil anything for you, Roxanne and friend. But to give you a bit of a synopsis without spoiling something, a very significant person on one team has said that they're giving their final performance. So if you hadn't read that chapter, then go ahead and read it, because wow, it done got all dark all of a sudden out there. What happened? That reminds me, I gotta put the flashlight on my face so my reaction isn't dark. I definitely need to make it a habit of putting a light on my face so just in case clouds pop up, it doesn't mess you guys up. But overall, I enjoyed the chapter, an 8 out of 10 chapter. I can't wait to see you guys in my next video, which will be my One Piece reaction. Hope you guys check that out. And I look forward to seeing you guys in my Cyberpunk playthrough tomorrow. So that's all I got for you guys. With that being said, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in the next video. And if you enjoyed what you saw here today, then consider subscribing because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples. You guys have absolutely no idea how much I look forward to doing this for you. I love this, and I will never stop. I'm out.